Sam, Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0. Big win, a win that we had to get, and we did. Wasn't easy, but we fought hard, defended like lions today. How do you sum up that game?
Highlight for me, in the tunnel before the game, when we were all stuck there, Big Sam walked past and was spotting everyone.
Oh yeah? Did you spot him?
Yeah. Spotting Big Sam, highlight of the day. That's not something you get every week. You can beat Villa every week, they're shit, but you don't get to do that.
Well, they're not shit.
Well, they weren't great today. They didn't look like scoring really unless we gave it to them.
But your highlight is seeing Sam Allardyce today.
It's awesome. The guy,
Sam Allardyce.
People aren't lying, he is big in person. He is huge. That was, something
Brilliant.
you don't get every week. So
Well, good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Get a selfie?
No. I thought I'd better not film because, I want to get the spot. I don't want to be that guy. You know that guy in the background when you're holding your camera, he walks past and doesn't see you. I don't want that. So...
Between Cam and Marcel, honestly, I can't. What did you think about the game?
The game, yes, the game. I enjoyed it. I think Luke Shaw and Lindelof were incredible at the back. Really, really good. I think for the most part we controlled the game. The ref was the only real place I saw it getting away, and it happens every week. Luke Shaw got kicked in the head, it looked like, from where I was sat. No card. We were getting cards for random stuff when it shouldn't have been cards. And Rashford, I don't know how he didn't get a penalty. It was right in front of me. The guy's just run through him.
Was it a definite pen? I didn't see it.
I don't know how he's not given the pen. And two minutes later, he gives the same thing. You know that one defenders always get in their own box, like a little shove.
Yeah.
He gives that, but he doesn't give the pen. Where the guy's gone through it.
Yeah, he gave it on concert, didn't he, when he got pushed over?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It happens every single week. It seems to anyway. Where a ref comes here, and I don't know if the refs can't handle the pressure of being at Old Trafford or what, but they just don't want to give any decision unless it's so blatant that they have no other choice. It's shocking, really. I don't know what's going on with that.
What did you make of our midfield today? I will get back to the defence and the individual because you said Luke Shaw and Lindelof were incredible. I'll get back to that in 2 seconds. Because Casemiro, a lot of people talking about him today, saying that was his best game back from that suspension. How did you feel he played today? Yeah,
I agree. I think it's his best game back. I don't think he's where he left off before the World Cup just yet. I think with him though, it's what he does best is when he goes out to tackle someone, he's really good at sort of slowing down before he gets there to the point where he's in control of the situation. That's what he does brilliantly. But it's before that, to actually get there in the first place, he's got to be quick. And it looks to me, in that phase of the game, he's still running in treacle a bit. He doesn't quite look quick enough like he was pre-World Cup, so I think there's some way to go, but I think he did get better and better, and you could see he was getting more and more angry with the way the ref was refereeing the game. Same with Anthony, actually, when he came on, you could see they were getting frustrated with the way that we weren't getting any decisions. So he's doing all right. I think in midfield it was an interesting selection to go with Bruno on the right.
Wasn't it? Do you think that was I know it's easy now with one, but was that the right call? And how do you think Bruno did, and how do you think we adapted with putting Sabitzer in there instead? Yeah,
I think the idea was obviously to target Villa's really high line with runs in behind, aggressive runs in behind from Bruno. And it did work, because what we tried to do quite a bit is the Villa fullbacks step up really high to back up the press. So what we targeted was the runs from sort of outside to in midfield, into that channel and behind. So we did that really well, actually. Bruno getting in behind quite a bit. You could see every time Dalot was on the ball, he was looking for that ball in behind, into that gap between the centre-back and the fullback. When the Villa fullback
and Eriksen as well kept spinning loads in behind. Casemiro done it in the first half quite a lot. Give it to me. I'm just going to get us turned and we'll go long basically.
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes that's what you got to do. You draw them onto you and create that space in behind. We did a good job of that. And I know obviously Jadon Sancho, it's not his best part of his game, getting in behind, using his pace. But he had a good game as well. He grew into the game, I thought.
I think he worked hard today.
Yeah, he worked hard. And you know who I was really impressed with actually? We criticised Marcus Rashford on Tactical View on Monday for poor body language, not really working as hard as he could have done against Brighton. He put everything in today.
Is that because he's up front instead of on the left? Or just he just worked harder?
There's less running when he's up front.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's because he's watching the Tactical View, you never know.
I don't think he's listening to you.
No, he's listening to you. He's seen you pull that up, be like, nah, you can't be doing this.
I was on him. You
pulled him up there, so he's listening to you, Flex.
Yeah, so maybe, but also, because I think when he's up front, because he's more hungry for goals, he wants to score, he's always a willing runner. So, and I think because the clear tactic today was get Rashi in behind, which is why I think we left it so long to actually bring Martial on. Yeah. Even though Rashi couldn't compose himself today, and maybe his radar was a little bit off today, the willingness to keep Mings and Konsa going shit, he's going to keep running. That was a big weapon, and I think that's why we saw Martial come on so late and not in the usual, earlier fashion.
Exactly. You could see the game plan was to target their high line, using Rashford, using aggressive runs from Bruno, sometimes Sancho, sometimes Eriksen even making runs in beyond. That was the way we played to try and get round that. And even when Anthony came on, so I think that was why Rashford stayed on as long as he did. But he was working so much harder than I've seen him work for a long, long time. And actually, he showed Martial up, because normally, Martial, I know he's not the most aggressive and the most intense, but he normally does a good job in the press in terms of leading things. But Rashford was doing what Martial does in terms of being in the right place, cutting off the passing lanes and still pressing. But he was doing it with 10 times more intensity, which you don't normally see from him. Yeah. Sancho, as you said, he did work hard when he got back. I was a little bit surprised.
How many times he keeps slowing the ball down?
He does.
he's kind of clean through. And I know his preference is to play with someone, bounce it off and connect.
That's what he does.
But it's like sometimes he's got the chance to actually go, I can beat you and I'm in, but he just doesn't seem to favour that approach, does he?
Yeah, he doesn't. But one thing I did like today was that we didn't try and turn it into a really transitional end-to-end game. When we had chances to play the killer ball, sometimes we did, yes, sometimes, but a lot of the time we did sit back a little bit deeper, find the right moments, play through, suck them in, and then go longer if we had to, or we got the ball up the pitch slowly and tried to camp in the final third to make our counter-press better. And there were a few times where we had some really good pressing moments where we won the ball back in good positions, had chances to, within 1 or 2 passes, create a shot, create a good chance, and just couldn't put it away, which is frustrating.
Coming a bit, Luke Shaw today, I know back to Lindelof and Shaw, what is it that was so incredible about them and why do you think they're playing so well together?
It's everything they do. I think when those two are playing together, they trust each other. They know that both of them have got a good reading of the game, so they know that if the ball's, say, let's say on the left-hand side for us, so if it was going towards Buendia, Lindelof is able to read the game, so he knows that if Shaw's going to go in, follow Buendia, he's got to be able to cover. So he's ready to cover, but then as soon as the ball moves to the other side, and Ollie Watkins is up against Lindelof, he's right on him, really touch tight. He's grabbing the shirt, holding him, stopping him, turning around. That aggression is what we've missed, and maybe when he's playing with Maguire, he feels like he's got to be more wary of the cover because he knows that obviously Maguire's not the quickest, not great in large spaces, but I think mentally Lindelof's in a much stronger place and Luke Shaw is brilliant. You can't get around him. There's nothing you can do. He's really strong, he's great in the air, great on the ground as well, reads the game brilliantly and he's quick. So
to the point where, obviously Martinez being out for the season was killed, obviously because you don't get to put Luke Shaw left back where he's fantastic. But actually, if you're talking about, maybe there's going to be a drop-off at centre-back because Luke Shaw maybe isn't the same as Martinez, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing like for like. If not, Luke Shaw is making me feel like not a problem there. I don't feel anyone's going to get past him. Nobody.
No, it doesn't seem like it. He did a good job against Haaland earlier in the season as well. I don't think there's anyone that would cause him a problem because he's just so good at reading the game. There's no issue at all. I think sometimes as well, when he's played at left back, a slight issue he's had is the sort of intensity to get out and close down someone about to put in a cross.
Natural,
But you don't really have to do that at centre-back. So it takes away everything he's...
suiting him now. It's like... I don't want to say anything mad like, should he just be a centre-back? Like, because obviously we've got Martinez, he'll come back and will be amazing. Luke Shaw will go back. But like, I don't know. It's like he's just showing this thing like, I've always been able to do this, guys, by the way. Like, I could just be a top centre-back if you want me to. Like, it's just effortless.
It's so mature, and I think the best part of it really, at the moment, those two are looking like they could be our first choice centre-back pairing the way they're playing. They're fantastic. But the thing I really like is that all brilliant centre-backs have is that aggression, but that moment, that ability to switch it off as well. So they're really aggressive when they need to be, but also they don't just let that, they're not hot-headed. You know, in the way that Fred's hot-headed, he'll just go and chase things.
They're two calm individuals, aren't they, in general?
Exactly, yeah. But he's got that aggression when he needs to be. He's touch tight on Buendia. If Buendia's dropped 10 yards deeper to try and get on the ball in the half space, Shaw will follow him all the way. He'll stop him being able to turn, but then when he needs to, he's able to realise, okay, hang on, I'm not going to win this. I'll drop off. I'll get back in the line, and he's able to. He's vocal. He's commanding.
It's really weird. It's like they're a perfect partnership, isn't it? That we didn't know we needed.
But again, it comes back to sort of the way we play as a team. If we're able to keep the ball better, not have so many transitional situations, we can be higher up the pitch, and it's much easier for the centre-backs to anticipate what's going to happen. So if we're pinning Villa back, the centre-backs know that realistically, the only balls that are going to cause them problems, as long as they're touch tight, if the ball goes beyond you, a long ball, De Gea will hopefully come and sweep it up, or normally, because Shaw and Lindelof are quick enough, they'll be able to get there as well. So they know that they've just got to be touch tight, and when you're touch tight, if you're a bit aggressive, you can get your foot around, you can get that ball before the striker gets it, before they can get it under control, and it makes things so much easier. So it's that mentality, that composure from the whole team to think, hang on, we don't have to just play every first long ball we see into Rashford or whoever. We can get up the pitch, get high up, and it makes the job easier for everybody else.
The build up from those two when they're on the ball as well, they just keep really calm, not afraid to pass it between the lines. And pass it with intensity. Just on David De Gea, before I ask for your man of the match, I know you spoke about, in games like this where, set pieces, they're going to try and crowd in on him and stuff like that. Do you think he showed a bit of bravery today? Do you think he was decent today?
I think he coped with it okay, but it's just so frustrating seeing every team, or a lot of teams, come to us and put 8 players or 6 players in the 6-yard box. It's frustrating because not many other teams have to deal with that, and it's all because of David De Gea. And
But did he deal with that though?
He dealt with it for the most part. There was one situation, I think it was offside afterwards, where there were 4 or 5 players sort of in a big crowd,
carnage,
and he's gone up to catch it. You've got 2 hands. You're the only player there that can use the hands. Just catch the ball, and he's just tapped it a few yards away, and there's another phase of attack that comes from it. it's one of the biggest ways to kill pressure in football. If your keeper can just catch the
just
cross,
come out and
just go down on the floor. It's frustrating when a keeper does it against you.
Big keepers do it. Yeah,
Pickford always does it, where he catches a cross, he'll just go down on the floor, stay down for 10 seconds, kill the game, get your team up the pitch.
Pope does that as well.
It's so good at killing pressure and stopping any threat another team has, where because we can't really do that, we sometimes end up in situations where teams are camped in our third and able to go phase after phase of attack.
But
look,
he came out a couple punches where you're saying he doesn't normally do a couple. I think
he did miss a couple as well.
He missed one.
Concerning.
He missed that one that you're saying.
Yeah, well, I think Lindelof had it away, or maybe Casemiro.
Yeah, and he done the sweeping up with his head as well.
Yeah, I like
high
that.
starting position.
I did like that.
So
again, look, I think it's at the point where he needs to be replaced. If he's still first choice next season, we've got problems. But to the end of the season, there's no one else we can really have. So I guess we've just got to get used to it.
And who was your man of the match and why?
This is difficult between Luke Shaw and Lindelof. I think they're both brilliant. I can't give a joint vote, can I? We don't do that here.
Do what you want.
Now, I've been critical of people giving 1,000 out of 10 on the player ratings, so we'll do it properly. I'll give it to Lindelof because he had the clearance off the line as well. I thought he was brilliant. Luke Shaw was great too, but I'll give it to Lindelof. Another great performance.
Big up, man.